I thought I'd kind of just ramble off some ideas to you about some things that got in my head today because I had this conversation with several people. So, America loves pills. Okay, they have a pill for everything. Okay, you can't concentrate, Adderall, Ritalin. Oh, you can't sleep, here's a pill. You're depressed, here's a pill. You got anxiety, here's a pill. You're OCD, here's a pill. You got PTSD, here's a pill. Right? There's literally a pill for everything. You can't poop, here's a pill. We go to pills for our salvation and for our healing instead of maybe taking the time to have some natural herbs. Now, I'm not talking about the new age hippy dippy medicine, but I'm just saying my culture, America, loves pills. Okay? And if you think about it, prescription pill commercials are on the TV all day. These big pharma companies have massive amounts of money to lobby Congress to pass bills giving less restrictions on advertising to pill companies. And through these pill company marketing campaigns, it slowly makes people more and more accepting of seeing pills as a solution to every problem, right? Now, why am I mentioning this? Well, as you know, I have ADHD and my little one has ADHD, which is not that big of a deal, really. But some people think that you should medicate yourself or medicate your kids so that you can sit down, zombie out, and focus on one thing for a while so that you can be more competitive with other people. So that got me to thinking about our village life in our past, our primal past, our real God given soul selves, and how we as humans have created all these weird fake standards that don't really mean anything, right? The jobs of today will be different than the jobs 20 years from now, 30 years from now, right? And I think a lot of parents, especially in the States, everyone wants to be special and have a little genius kid. They want their kid to be the little Asian kid who's playing a violin and then with his foot playing a flute and then he can recite to you seven different languages and then that means that you were the best parent because your kid is some little genius. A lot of parents are not focusing on the happiness and health and freedom that your kid deserves. Yes, you should prepare them for the future world, but at the same time, if your kid isn't on the level of someone else, it doesn't really matter, okay? Let me give you an example. There was a girl, Daniela Bregoli, something like that. She was on Dr. Phil's show. She got famous because she disrespected her mom and she yelled into the crowd, "Catch me outside!" And she literally got a music deal and got to meet a bunch of Los Angeles celebrities and became famous. She's got like I think 7 million something followers or something like that, right? And she's doing pretty well. She didn't go to college. Her elementary school grades had zero effect on her becoming some star, right? And she became a star not through the most moral means, right? So, another example. Let's look at PewDiePie. His elementary grades don't matter and he's making money on YouTube, okay? I think it's very toxic for us to put so much pressure on our kids to perform so that parents can feel proud with against other parents like my kid is better than your kid and we're better parents than you because our kid's a little mini miserable genius who isn't very happy and has their whole life controlled for them, right? And then let's take it further. Just because your kid is smart, they might become socially awkward. They might not know how to do basic things, right? Yes, your kid may speak 8 languages, but do they know how to take some bones out of fish, right? Are they solely dependent on the electrical grid, which is artificial, which can collapse at any time? Is that kid really better than the kid in sub-Saharan Africa who knows how to shepherd some goats effectively? I'd say both kids are valuable to the human realm. I think it's very bad if we start ranking humans based on their intelligence, which is artificially constructed. The tests are designed by different people with their own biases and their own goals in mind, right? And each city, right? You got your county, you got your state, you got your country, and then globally. all those different layers need different types of workers. Okay? And culture versus the government, they all decide on the different traits they need, right? And I think what's making me more spiritual is that the fact that God gave you a soul. Now atheists, they may see pills and doctors as the savior for humanity. Drug them up. You need 7 pills? Here's a bunch of pills. That's the scientific solution, is to give you endless pills. If you get side effects from those pills, we'll just give you more pills, right? Now, for minor mental, let's say, expressions, right? They say, you're disabled. I am not disabled. I am different, right? What you value is different from what I value. What you can do and what I can do in the world is different. We need not compare. I don't need to compare the pineapple to the bundle of grapes. We are different. Comparing the bull to a poodle. They do different functions in the world, right? We can't say one is necessarily better than the other because the conditions of such will vary around the world and will change over time. So it's really scary how even when I was little, they tried to put me on Ritalin. I took it and then I took myself off of it. But even now, people will say you should give your kids Ritalin. They just want to drug your kid from the beginning. And another interesting fact that no one wants to talk about, these school shooters, a lot of them are on antipsychotics. They're on brain pills, right? So we have to ask ourselves, do we really want our entire community to be drugged? And what happens if we go to war and somebody, let's say America collapses and people can no longer get their prescriptions? And then those people's brains are all withdrawing from the years and years of chemical imbalances. And then they're out there just like, oh, I don't even know who I am. It's just like, how will they survive when they've lived in an artificial pilled reality? And then that pill reality goes back and they're now in the real raw world. And many will die, but many might come back to life again, right? It's really... I meet so many people on pills and there's a haze in their eyes. They're not as awake. It's like, hey, are you there? Are you there? And they're just like, oh yeah. And now, when you work with those people, it's even more awkward. Those people are driving, they get in more car accidents, right? Oh, they get a side effect, they need another pill. Then those 2 prescriptions, they don't really go well together. Or the doctor, he has no idea exactly how this pill is going to react with this pill. They know on the sheet, do not combine this one with that one. Okay, but they don't know what this one does, or the percentage was so low that they allowed it. And now you got all these different things going on in your body. Let's say you take a pill for your brain, but it disrupts your digestion. But doctors know that digestion is linked to mood. And now you're all out of balance. So then you go and you're like, well, I need another pill. And it's just endless sales, right? Big Pharma has a big role to play in American culture. Pills, just popping them like Skittles and M&Ms. And I think it's sad how some parents want their kids to be little geniuses and will say, okay, yeah, well, he's going to get smarter if I just give him this magic pill. Okay, yeah. Come on, man. I think as parents, we have to love our kids for who they are. We have to love them for who they are. We have to let them be a kid. Homework is expensive. Homework is important, right? It's important to make your kids study, but it's important not to rob your kid of their childhood. And explain to them there's nothing wrong with being different. It's weird, like horses come in different colors, humans come with different types of brains, okay? That's the way it is, that's the way it will always be. And for all of us to desire to be geniuses, well, guess what? Certain geniuses won't make good war heroes. They won't make good farmers. They won't make good mechanics or plumbers or husbands or wives or sisters or mother-in-laws. Just because someone is a little mini Elon Musk, even though I love Elon Musk, he's a genius, but they all have their own traits, right? Didn't Steve Jobs totally ignore his daughter and have a toxic relationship with his daughter? He was a shitty dad. So before we go worshiping at the altar of these geniuses because they create tech toys that get us addicted, We got to look at the human value of us, right? This entire system, way of living, is completely man-made, and because it's man-made, it can go away. I think we've become so comfortable that we're bored, and our brains and biology realize this. We're stuck in a building for our jobs, and then we go in a classroom, we're stuck there, right? And then you don't get out and feel the real world at all. And so our bodies naturally, we've been in the real world since our founding, right? Regardless if you think it's evolution or God placed you here, either way, we have always been connected to the world. And we're going away from that, and our biology hasn't caught up with that, and it won't for hundreds of more years. So our solution to pill ourselves up until we get to that point is going to cause a lot of different effects. Now, drug use is high, alcoholism is high, depression is high, and doctors have shown the mood and total vitamin intake of the mother affects exactly how the fetus's brain develops. The fetus will develop via the mother giving it signals on the environment. Even female deer can decide if they want to have 1 or 2 babies based on how much food they're eating in the environment. That's a concise view, right? But there are ways that certain animals will adapt to their environment based on how many offspring they have, how many eggs they lay. This is a common thing. So I think it's strange how we worship everything artificial and big pharma, and we trust people just because they're in a white coat, right? It's very bizarre. I think we'd be more healthy as a species if we said, you know what? God created your brain like that. Let your brain be like that. That doesn't mean if you have like a violent trait, okay, you got to work on that. And maybe somebody who's severely schizophrenic and can't operate, maybe they need something. But for average things, you might not need that. But a kid's brain is not fully developed. So if they are not getting all A's in the 5th grade, it doesn't matter. Make your kid happy doing what they love. I'm not saying you let your kid never study, but I'm saying don't beat them to death with too much extracurricular activities and meeting these arbitrary goals. And don't let a group of counsel, like a council or a group or anyone else, convince you that your kid, in order to succeed, needs a magic pill. Because no pill can override the will of God. I really do think that. It can only create a fog and a different version of your child that isn't naturally part of them, and you're blurring who your kid really is with pills like Ritalin or any other type of mental medication. I'm not a doctor, but these pills are everywhere now, and and when you take Ritalin, one of the side effects is that you're not as active, you get fat. What happens when you get fat? Diabetes, kidney failure, you can get thyroid problems, right? There's health effects that come with that. So it's like you're going to have a fat, unhappy, miserable kid, or you can have a naturally healthy kid who maybe doesn't pay attention for 7 hours straight. It's not natural. Kids are meant to be existing in the world, exploring. Let them be a kid. They got all their life to be wage slaves. They got all their life to be working in a crappy company for some dumb boss who smells like whiskey and cigarettes or coffee breath, right? Let your kid be a kid. School is not the most important thing in life. Neither is your job, right? I think it's strange, really strange, how we think that the job market won't change. We think pills solve everything. We think some kids are more important than others, and certain parents are better than others just because their kid's a little mini genius. And then again, okay, let's say somebody is really good. Some kid is really smart on making, let's say, a little mini toy that, it's a little robot and it walks. And let's say other kid figures out how to do a good irrigation system on their farm for their grandpa, right? Both of those are different. Both of those kids are contributing to the world. I think it's very sick that we love pills so much in this country and we are too competitive with our kids. Example, let's say you have a fighter. He's valuable in his own way. Just because he hasn't found the cure for cancer doesn't mean he's not valuable. And just because you found the cure of cancer doesn't mean you're some saint. You could be a pedophile, you could be a rapist. Just because you found a cure for cancer doesn't mean everything you do is right. Doesn't mean you're moral by definition. So it's strange. We think because someone is smart, they're some sort of God. No, you didn't get to choose your brain. Your brain developed. Your wisdom was granted to you. And when you die, your mushy little brain is going to be eaten by bugs. So what's the point? Don't compare it. Don't compare it. I think if we stopped doing that, we'd value human life more. Because once we think, well, that person's dumb, they're not as smart as me, those people in that country aren't as smart as the people in my country, you dehumanize them, you degrade them, you other them, and then it gives you liberty to want to kill them or not care about their human rights. It all starts here at home. That's the point I'm trying to get at. It's like we rank intelligence too much in order to determine value and the right to speak. It's really strange. It's really bizarre. I don't know, man. It disturbs me how more and more I meet people who are on different pills, 5 different pills, 6 different pills, and you're like, okay, there's some people who really need it, but did you really need it? Or did you just need to change some things in your life and get some physical exercise? And some people will say, well, my kid, they can't take exercise in school. They have to stay in class all day, so I'll give them pills, and then when they get out, then I'll take them to exercise, and that should be enough. Who cares about the arbitrary expectations and goals of those schools? That won't predict your kid's future. It won't. It won't. Let a kid be a kid. It's strange. It really is. I don't know if any of you have to deal with this in your life, but I don't think the purpose of life is to be the number one genius. I don't think that's the purpose in life, and I don't think the purpose of life is to be some rich schmuck in some office skyscraper building. And I don't think you're better than anyone else just because you're smart in one particular area. Right? You could be really good at building cars. But let's say the world needs a solution to some plastic problem. You don't know how to deal with it. But let's say someone else figures it out. Right? And let's say someone does figure out how to, create this recycling machine. But let's say there's some type of problem in the soil, right? The farmers know how to make the soil rich again that the tech guy doesn't understand. The tech guy needs the farmer in order to grow the food. We're connected. Nobody's better than anybody else. And it's really strange, this job flexing. I'm better than you because you work at Dollar Tree and I work for a Fortune 500 company and I type things in a computer all day. Without that computer, without that job, who are you? It's strange how we build our identities off of credit cards, shopping clothing brands, where we live, the color of our skin, and our kids' actions in school. No, when you die, if there's a judgment day, your actions and who you are is going to be measured. Not the garbage titles you had. You're not taking the Macy's clothes with you, the Macy's purse into heaven. That's it. No. Wow, I don't know. I had some intense conversations today with some people who, it really disturbed me how eager they were to try to offer pills as a solution, not only for my kid, but saw that this comparison of you have to be like this in order to get X. It's no, I don't believe in that. I don't know, family. I'm ranting to you because there might be other moms out there who get what I'm saying. And just because you have ADHD like me, that don't mean you can't be successful. That doesn't mean you can't find love in life. That doesn't mean you can't find happiness in life. That doesn't mean God doesn't love you. It doesn't mean you can't have a good job. It doesn't mean you can't have an awesome pet or travel. It means nothing. It just means you have a different brain and embrace it. Embrace it. I don't know. I don't think someone with Down syndrome is lesser than Elon Musk. And some people will see me as radical. No. A person with Down syndrome can talk to me and make me laugh, but someone who's like an Elon Musk might be a jackass. He might be really rude, and I might be like, I don't really want to chill with you. I'd rather go chill with the person with Down syndrome right now. I am so grateful that I am that illusion, this really weird utopian, artificially constructed fantasy reality that our country tries to push on us is no longer having an effect on me. No, let your kid be a kid. Embrace how your brain naturally functions. Yes, strive to improve yourself, but understand you are who you are. You can't change your soul. You can improve it, but you can't change who you are. Your brain is connected to that, yes, but it doesn't define you by that sole factor. You can still do kindness in the world. You can still give love. You can still be wrong and be a jerk. You should improve on that, but don't get too bogged down with the fact that you're a kid or you are not a genius, because you may have another value that you may not see in the grand scheme of things. So it's strange. I don't know, family. What do you think? What do you think? I would really like to know. If any of you experience this, especially in Western schools, it may not be the same in other countries where the big pharma hasn't come there yet and tried to drug all your kids in the schools, but it is very common here. And some of the people are really good with their talking points. They know how to suggest to you and, come on, just, here's this pill. And how much is that going to cost you? No. No. You can just be happy with your ADHD, and some people won't get it. But today, so many kids are being born with different types of brains on the spectrum. You can say it's because of pollution. You can say it's stress. You can say it's a bad environment. You can give it all kinds of reasons, malnutrition, whatever it is. The fact of the matter is, the world is different now. The brains are different now. You're going to have to get used to having different people with different mental conditions. I deal with all kinds of people, and I'm the type of person, I see someone with a different brain, you give me 3 weeks around them, I'll know what they like, what they don't like, and I can adjust my behavior to operate within their brain's capacity. I don't know. It's like, because I spend so much time in school around special ed students, I don't dehumanize them. As an honor student of 3 honor societies, some honor students are extremely arrogant and unpleasant to be around, and very excellent liars. Excellent liars who fake it till they make it and are boastful, pompous, self-centered, narcissistic, not very fun people to be around, right? They've allowed their brain to inflate their ego so much that they detach themselves from the humanness of the world. And when you get around somebody who's less smarter than you, you're like, hey, how you doing? And you have a conversation, you get along. All of us have value. Both of us have value. I'm really tired of the genius worship. It's bizarre. You're setting yourself up to hurt your own soul, and you're not seeing the beauty that's in life if you solely focus on the geniuses. I don't know, family. Tell me what you think.